So one of the more popular videos on my channel is one where I talked about bullying, and it's quite old. It's really cringy to look back at, and I hate that it's like my second most watched video because it's really cringy and it's really old and I actually look like a fetus, so I wanted to kind of, I don't know, make a new one because especially after I made my middle school advice video, I've had like a few comments where people have been like, hey, your advice really helped me and it made me feel better about school and people who are being assholes to me. That's awesome. All I care is that at least one person like benefits from me talking about my experiences and the things that I've done. You should be able to go to school without being in fear that people are going to make fun of you or harass you or be mean to you. That's a right you have. You have the right to go to school and get your education and learn stuff, which is the reason why you're there. You're there to learn. So you shouldn't have to have these distractions keeping you from learning and being happy. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about my experience with it and then what I think you should do or consider doing if you're going through a similar situation like this, or if somebody you know is going through a situation like this. When I was in elementary school, I was the teacher's pet. Every single year, like, my teachers absolutely loved me because I was well behaved and I worked really hard in school. I had good grades and I cared about what I was doing. Over time, I felt like I had to live up to that expectation of perfection and that I had to do everything right and everything I did had to be 100% flawless. So as I got older and even today, I still have unrealistic expectations for myself as far as my grades go. And after a while, people started to notice how I strive for perfection and how I never misbehaved and I always was on task and doing my homework and I always got things done. I wasn't the type of kid who would forget to do their homework. I wasn't one of those kids in like elementary school that had to run laps at recess because they were talking in class. I was never that kid and I've never been that kid. And I think part of it was just because everybody was telling me I was so mature and I was so perfect and I was so great, and I felt like I had to always constantly live up to that, and it's really like hard to feel like you have to constantly live up to something like that. So once I got into 5th grade, there was a group of boys in my class that definitely noticed how I always tried to be perfect and I never got in trouble. Like, if you looked at the hall monitor sheet where it's like who was talking and who was misbehaving, I never had like any marks or anything. These boys were troublemakers who were the ones who were doing laps at recess every day. I don't know what their problem was. I think they were just jealous. They were insecure. They had their own insecurities that they wanted to take out on other people. They were like the cool kids, the popular boys who were in 5th grade but they had iPhones. They were in 5th grade but they had all these friends and they acted like they were like so cool. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get all ladies, like, yeah, like you're like 11, calm down. So they tried to make me make mistakes. When they were the hall monitors for the week, it was hell for me because they were waiting for me to just step out of line, like even just a little bit, so they could call me out on it and get me in trouble for something I didn't even do. I hated that people got punished for things I didn't do. They would always try to get me in trouble or get me to make mistakes. And of course this is like really petty and immature 5th grade drama, but at the time it felt like the end of the world to me. And I would go home every single day and I would cry. And whenever they would call my name at recess and make me walk like 5 laps, I would cry in front of them, in front of everyone. And that went on for quite a few months where I would be crying every day at recess when they were the hall monitors. I told my friend about this and everybody in my class pretty much knew what was going on, but nobody wanted to stand up to those boys because, you know, they're the popular ones and they were the cool ones and everybody wanted their attention. My nickname in the class was Gigi, which basically means goody goody. They would call me that all the time. I was scared to go to school and I have like vivid memories of crying in my mom's closet because I didn't want to go because they were mean, because I didn't want to have to deal with them treating me like that. One of my friends told her dad what was happening and then her dad reached out to the counselor and then I was called into the counselor's office one day and I explained to the counselor what was happening and she wasn't helpful at all. None of my teachers, no matter how much I told them that I was suffering and I was upset, nobody really seemed to care. And that's what the most frustrating part about all this was. They tell us at school that bullying is wrong, you shouldn't make fun of other people, and that you should go to an adult if that's happening, but then when you do, they don't really do anything. My counselor told me that I shouldn't worry because the reason why those boys were being mean to me was because they had a crush on me, because they liked me. which is such a horrible thing they should teach girls. It's so horrible to teach girls that that's like an okay behavior, that boys will be boys, and it's okay for a boy to be mean to a girl if he likes her, because that's just how boys express themselves. That's such a horrible and abusive thing to condition girls to believe at such a young age. I was like 10 or 11 at that time. They tried talking to the boys and getting them to stop, but they didn't. No matter what I did and whoever I reached out to, no matter how much I told people that I was suffering, nobody cared or stood up for me. And this went on for the entire school year until like April or May, when I realized the reason why they were making fun of me was because they wanted a reaction out of me. They wanted me to have a panic attack. They wanted me to cry. That was their goal. So it finally clicked that when they do that, I shouldn't cry, because that's the reaction they want to get out of me. They want me to cry. So one day, they gave me a lap at recess, and I stepped out of the line, and I kept a blank face. And the look on their faces was absolutely priceless. I was so proud of myself because I didn't cry and I didn't give in and I didn't let them win. That's probably one of the moments in my life where I've been the strongest. I didn't give in to them. They felt stupid and they realized they couldn't control me anymore, so they stopped making fun of me. It was a really hard thing to do, and it took a lot of strength, and it took months of crying myself to sleep and feeling uncomfortable at school and unsafe. But I finally won, and they finally stopped. And they never made fun of me after that. No matter how much you reach out to your counselors or your teachers or your parents, sometimes there's very little they can do, which really sucks. They can try talking to the person who's being mean to you. They can try punishing them however much they want. But it's really up to them whether they stop or not. The one thing you can do is make sure they don't know that they're hurting you. If somebody's making fun of you, don't go cry or show a reaction or look hurt, because that's what they want. Don't react at all, because if they keep bullying you and getting no reaction, eventually they'll give up. They want to get a reaction out of you, and if they don't get that, then they're losing and you're winning. If you're being made fun of or bullied, just remember that that person is going through a hard time as well, and they're taking it out on you, and don't take it personally. There will come a time in your life where you will be comfortable with who you are and feel confident who you are and be so in love with who you are and stop looking for validation in other people and outside sources and instead find it from within. And it's going to take a while, and I'm still trying to get to that point. I'm definitely a lot better than I was a month ago or 2 months ago or like 3 years ago. I'm definitely so much better about that now. It's a journey we're all striving to get through, and my camera's gonna die, so I hope this helped.